Follow the rivers which flow through northern India's Manali, up its rocky slopes, through its steep valleys, and you'll find the magical Himalayan mountains. This is a colossal world, unforgiving. To live and breathe these mountains in, you need a strong will and a powerful team, as the Himalayas will fight you at every turn. On this journey, I enter India's fiercest landscape, straddling the early winter season for a desolate, snow-covered adventure up sheer slopes and winding trail. Jagat Peak, a towering mountain with incredible views of the surrounding wilderness, will be our reward for a week of hard-fought kilometers if we're able to survive the many challenges Mother Nature has in store for us. The wild world of Asia beckons. Do you hear its call? I do.
Don't look down. Don't look down. This feels like such a big mistake.
I'm Ryan Pyle, adventurer,
And we've come into a huge snowstorm.
explorer.
Amazon is killing me.
I've traveled the world for years, documenting people and practices in remote regions.
That's amazing. We just walked straight into a family celebration.
Now, I turn my eyes to Asia. Through its barren deserts and dense jungle canopy, unique forms of life flourish. With distinct lessons to be learned from cultures unfamiliar,
I can't help but notice we're surrounded by skulls.
and a dare to be curious through new friendships to last a lifetime. Come with me as I climb higher, seeking new perspectives and understanding of the world around me.
When I walk, I'm learning, and when I walk, I'm connecting with the place.
Exploring the far reaches of the East. One river, valley, mountaintop at a time. This is Expedition Asia. Falling off the Himalayan mountains is the Kullu Valley, home to Manali, a small resort town frequented by those seeking solace from the busy cities and traffic of southern India. Life is simple here. The air is clean, mountain views inspiring. Colorful rooftops dot the avenues, lined with busy streets tending to shoppers and visitors here for vacation. Historic structures are spaced throughout the new urban growth in town, calling back to a time when Manali was merely a small mountain village. But throughout its changes, the surrounding peaks have always remained in view. You can feel the energy in Manali. There are busy crowds late into the evening, and therefore street-side businesses prosper. A local barber has set up a shop on one busy corner, needing only a tarp and a chair for his clients. Getting a clean shave before a trip is a ritual of mine, a way to reset before giving up all control to Mother Nature. I relax and listen to the sounds of Manali streets as my barber gets to work. In town is charming, and after my shave, I'm eager to see more of what's around. I follow the sounds of music and crowds to an area lined with festive balloons, vendors, foods, and shrines. This is all part of the Hindu holiday called Dussehra, a festival that takes place on the 10th day of October, which celebrates the holy battles of Hinduism and the victory of good over evil. Countless tents are lined beside each other, filled with followers who bring gifts and offerings inside. And not far away, an enormous congregation of people gather for something very special. Many of these men and women wear local costumes, matching with larger groups in the same outfits. Each take their own separate space in the clearing, preparing for a moment soon to come. The men have stepped out along the perimeter of this field, bearing instruments, and the women have populated the space within, forming a choreographed circle in which a colorful dance begins. Different groups of women, each from surrounding villages, take turns dancing, telling stories and battles and struggles of the Hindu gods. There are so many colors, fabrics, and faces to take in. The movement and singing among such a huge group is absolutely breathtaking. Manali's Dussehra festival is a real privilege to experience. However, it's not all that this town has to offer. Being adjacent to the Himalayas, adventure tourism is very popular here. And so I head over to the Solang Valley Sports Center for a small taste of what's to come.
So we got into Manali. We've been kind of exploring the town for the last few days, but now I'm kind of up for some adventure. So we're here in the Solang Valley, and this is the Himalayan ski field where people come in the wintertime to ski, but in the summertime, they actually use it for paragliding. So, my name's Ryan.
I'm Yogi.
Yogi, great to meet you.
Same to you. I'm from Manali.
Born and raised in Manali.
Born in Manali.
That's awesome. So you have like the outdoor,
Yeah, so many activities we have.
it's in your bones.
Yes, that's true.
You grew up like what, skiing and...
Skiing, snowboarding, climbing.
That's amazing. You jumped off the Rotang?
Yeah, Rotang Pass, we can fly all the peak to Manali. We can land there.
In
nearby
Manali. That's
yeah.
a faster way to get home, right? Because the Rotang Pass, the road is terrible.
Yeah, the road is terrible, and especially when you get down, it's all the zigzag.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
if the traffic in India is getting to you, just learn how to paraglide.
True.
We're about to jump off a perfectly good mountain and glide 1,000 meters down to land right here. That'll be good, right?
Same.
Perfect.
Yogi and I take a ski lift to the top of a nearby mountain, gearing up for our big jump. Up here, we meet Yogi's assistants, who help stretch out the parachute we'll soon be flying with.
Try to run forward, try to run forward. Yes, like that. Don't need to be sit, don't need to be jump. Just keep running like that only.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Here you go. Wait. And let me get ready.
We're 3,200 meters above sea level, and this is going to be like a 1,000 meter flight and descent, and I cannot wait.
After a chaotic running start, Yogi and I sail off the mountain, flying high above the Solang Valley for panoramic views of the peaks surrounding us. huge drop below my feet becomes more familiar, and I'm able to relish the joys of flying. It's good practice for what lies ahead. When I'm out in the Himalayas, I'll be forced to relinquish control to my surroundings. Soaring above this landscape, it's not so different, and it gets me into the proper headspace to dive into the real wilderness of India. Back in Manali, I've got one last day to relax and get a good night's rest. I wander the market streets, saying hello to locals and picking up some souvenirs for back home. I'm happy to have spent some time here in peaceful Manali, the perfect jumping off point for the intense journey ahead.
I'm here in Manali, the adventure capital of India. I've had a wonderful few days exploring the city. I've met some pretty unique people and personalities. I even jumped off a perfectly good mountain with my paragliding instructor, Yogi. But like all these expeditions, it's time to leave the city, and we're gonna be heading out into the wilderness and making a summit attempt. We're gonna be exposed to all that Mother Nature has to offer, and it all starts right now.
Our journey will begin with a short but scenic drive south of Manali to the town of Jagat Peak, named after the peak I'll soon attempt to climb. Here, I'll meet my guides Himika and Rajiv. Our caravan will travel up a winding mountain valley, along rivers and scree slopes deeper into the Himalayas, until finally arriving at and climbing Jagat Peak, a 5,050-meter summit that will mark the end of our expedition. Our ride out of Manali is a bumpy one. The streets wind along the sides of mountains, with pavements soon turning into gravel, as views of the Himalayas ahead come into full view. At the trailhead, we meet our team of porters and guides, unloading trucks filled with food and gear for the journey to Jagat Peak. Immediately, I can tell this team is made up of seasoned professionals. They move like clockwork, forming lines, organizing and packing. Overseeing this process is Rajiv, one of my guides for the expedition, and a mountaineer with over 40 years' experience. Donkeys will carry the majority of our load up steep trails ahead. Our porters tie bags of supplies onto them in a delicate balance. Soon the porters are done packing, and it's nearly time to leave. All that's left to do is meet my guide, Himika, an avid explorer herself and the daughter of Rajiv.
Himika,
Hi, Ryan.
great to finally meet you.
Yeah, finally.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm ready to trek. I'm ready to get out into the mountains.
All right, then let's do it.
Let's do it?
Yeah.
I'll follow you. All right.
Let's go.
And so it begins. Our trip starts out with several river crossings. Snowmelt feeds these raging waters, collecting off the huge mountains we'll soon be wandering through. The river serves as a map to follow, deeper into the valley ahead. We track along its banks all day until the horizon starts to open up, revealing the true might of the nature we're entering. After a day of full, breathtaking trekking, Himika and I catch up with our team who have already begun setting up camp for tonight. along the Riverside. As quickly as our crew packed things up, they unload and set up our new mountain home. A very disciplined group. Every man has his job and gets right to it, whether it be setting up the tents, organizing the gear, or preparing the food. This process, these men, are the invisible backbone that makes for successful expeditions. Having a warm bed and nourishing food each night makes my life easy and allows me to push myself to my physical limit when needed, without having to worry about making a fire or preparing food on my own. For dinner tonight, a chicken is slaughtered and cleaned down by the riverbank. Then cooked inside the tent for a delicious curry dish. Our chef for this expedition is not messing around. He brought a whole bucket of spices to keep our team excited for every meal. While dinner is being prepared, Himika and I explore the surrounding area. This nature is so big and wondrous. We can't just keep ourselves to camp while there's still daylight to take advantage of. Pushing ahead, we find a flock of goats and sheep trotting down a hillside. I weave through the pack with Himika, soaking in the natural world around me. I follow the herd to a nearby shrine, one that's dedicated to the Hindu snake god. Rajiv approaches with 2 quarters and a plate of food, an offering brought as a gift for blessings on the journey.
Well, it is a local saying, when we pass through this place, Shika, we must pray to Takshiknag, because Takshiknag makes your journey safe and happy. If we do not pray here, we do not offering to the Takshiknag, then sometime we can be in trouble, So it is Takshiknag, who can give us a good weather and can make our journey pleasant and happy.
Rajiv's spirituality is comforting. There is a real intentionality to what he does out here, a calculated and respectful man. His demeanor has rubbed off on his daughter Himika as well. I have a lot of trust for both of them.
Ever since I was a little kid, I was skiing and hiking and trekking. So I've always been that adventurous kid. Always loved the outdoors.
That's great. And did your father have any influence in that? Did he get you outside at a young age?
Yeah, of course, since he was an adventure enthusiast, he was a mountaineer. So he made sure that I also enjoy a bit of nature and inspired me a lot. Like, he always had friends around in house who were all climbers and mountaineers, and they would always talk about love and passion for the mountain. And I would always listen to them and get inspired. Oh yeah, I think that's how I feel about mountains too.
Yeah? What do you like about it?
So being an outdoor is like being in a playground, and this is where I come to play. This is where I come to look at the mountains and watch the gurgling streams and look at the wildflowers. This is where I feel alive.
These mountains make me feel alive, and as I fade to sleep, I'm filled with excitement for what's to come tomorrow.
Any day you wake up in the mountains is a great day. And we're going to be on the trail. We got a long day today. It's going to be about 6-7 hours of trekking. gradual incline to our next camp. Absolutely incredible.
Our morning begins by continuing up the river, taking in the views of the day's first light, bouncing off the cliffs above. This is my first day waking up in the Indian wilderness. There is something special about my first entire day of trekking on expeditions like this. Yesterday we drove in from Manali, and that world of comfort felt nearby, even as we pushed into the foothills of the Himalayas. Today, waking up to the sounds of donkeys and birds, Manali seems so distant, yet I feel more at home in this nature. Himika points out some interesting facts about the flora and fauna that we pass, like this birch bark, used for paper by locals.
So in earlier times, people used to take the bark of this tree and write manuscripts on them. I mean, even I have a roll of it. I'm waiting what to write on it.
As the day progresses and our altitude rises, we leave larger plants like trees behind us. The soft soil below my feet in the morning gives way to rocks, gravel, and scree. Soon, we're hopping from boulder to boulder, coming into the sweeping views of the high mountain valley ahead. We've now entered new terrain. Plant life around me has almost completely given way to giant rocks, fallen from the great peaks on either side of me. It feels like we're walking straight into the belly of the beast. Life does not flourish up here. This is a land for only the toughest. I wonder about the toll this arid alpine environment will take on our team, as I drink fresh mountain water running down from the glaciers above us. Behind Himika and I is the donkey caravan. Our porters guide these stubborn beasts up twisting, narrow trails full of loose rock. They are afflicted with frequent traffic jams as too many donkeys try to squeeze through at once. They won't push on unless they're told to, and so our team is constantly whistling and yelling at them, keeping them focused and moving. With huge rocky walls on either side of you, there's no real risk of getting lost or separated from the pack. And soon, our caravan catches up with us. We walk to the very far side of the valley and decide on a soft patch of grass to camp on for a minute. Our team of porters and cooks are incredibly hospitable and professional. Their friendly faces are encouraging as we push further into this treacherous terrain. It's important to trust your team when you're out in the wild like this. And as the weather turns freezing tonight, I'm thankful to be in good hands.
Probably one of the best things there is about trekking is when you actually can feel the landscape and the climate and the environment change as you're walking through it. And today is exactly that. You know, we started off in a forest, then we went into kind of above the tree line, and then we got into the rocky moraine, and now we're up here in this kind of higher alpine grassland. And now everything's just kind of turned for the worse. So fingers crossed, this is just like a 1 hour or 2 hour snowstorm, and it doesn't snow all night and we wake up in like knee-deep snow, because then, you know, the journey is just gonna get a lot tougher. And it's actually, a snowstorm like that at this moment would put our whole trip in jeopardy. We're still 2 or 3 days away from our actual summit push, and anything like this obviously would make it very challenging and very dangerous, because whatever's going on around me right now is very gentle, and whatever would be going on up there in the mountains would be terrible.
Looking above at the sheer cliffs of these wintry Himalayan peaks, I worry about the snow, crossing my fingers that our expedition can move ahead. Sunrise brings good news. The snow has not stuck to the ground. Camp is dry, and so we gather our things to prepare for another epic day of trekking. Every morning we go through the same process. Tents and supplies are broken down and packed away. Dishes from the night before are washed in nearby streams, like this one flowing right through our camp this morning. Our donkeys are herded and lined up near the baggage, and our porters stack them up with as much weight as possible, carefully balancing either side to keep the animals upright. Himika reviews the day's plan with me. Our haul today is the toughest yet. A high pass bringing the team up a winding set of switchbacks, finishing at the base camp of Jagat Peak. We'll be gaining a ton of altitude in a short amount of time. It's a sprint of sorts compared to yesterday's long, gradual incline. The donkeys are organized, and we begin the challenge. Through this little plateau, now up this massive wall. We're amongst the snow. The journey just keeps getting better and better. And you know what the thing that's the most impressive is if I wanted to right now, I could leave and be back in Manali for dinner. That is how accessible Manali is to epic adventures and epic valleys and incredible landscapes like the one I'm currently standing in. I can't wait to keep going. It's just getting more beautiful with every footstep. My steps are feeling heavier. The air is beginning to thin. The porters behind us push and push as the donkeys slow. This is a huge day for our team. Weaving through the dips and the hills around us, somehow managing to ascend this giant wall. So look, we've been climbing all day, and we're getting towards base camp, and finally we came upon some snow.
Now, if you're from a cold part of the world, I'm from Canada, it's not that big a deal. But Himika was telling me the other day, she brings a lot of tours up here, and she brings a lot of people from southern India and from the big cities in India, and they get so excited about seeing snow. And for me as a Canadian, you know, it's commonplace. But to be Indian and to get a picture of yourself holding snow, or by God, skiing or something like that, is a huge deal. So we've now reached the snow line, is what we can talk about here. When you reach the snow on a good climb or a good trek, it means things are starting to get pretty serious. It always feels really rewarding to trek for several days and then finally get to your base camp. And basically that's where we are now. We've reached our base camp. We've got this beautiful stream to my right. We're surrounded by snow-capped mountains in every direction. Nowhere have we quite seen mountains like this. You know, I'm surrounded by giants. A lot of the mountains around me are 5, 6, 6,500 meters. That's anywhere between, you know, 16 and 20,000 feet. It's just epic. And this is where we're gonna kind of camp out. We're gonna rest, we're gonna eat, we're gonna acclimatize, and then eventually we're gonna make our summit attempt.
At camp, our porters begin attaching spiked cleats to the bottom of our climbing boots, preparing for the climb ahead.
So they're fixing crampons on our climbing boots because on our climb day we will be needing it.
Yep.
The snow is going to be really soft, so crampons are going to help us move better.
And then the spikes on the bottom, that's what keeps us connected to the ice.
And these are hard and the water will not get inside. I mean, the snow will not get inside. So,
That's great.
We budgeted an entire day for our morning climb up to the base camp, and it was totally exhausting for the team and our animals. Now, camp is set up and our caravan can rest. But I'm buzzing with excitement as we climb to greater heights. I decide to wander out along the huge wall we've climbed today and take in the rewarding views. Following the icy white river water, I stumble upon a meadow nearby where our donkeys have gathered to graze on the afternoon sun. This water borders scree slopes which lead up to an accessible rock face for some incredible views of sunset. Back at camp, I catch up with Rajiv, the leader who's kept our team so focused and efficient.
So what's the highest mountain you've climbed?
Well, with the grace of God, the highest mountain, that is Everest.
Yeah.
I was happened to be a technical advisor with the exclusively women expedition, Indianapolis.
Okay. Oh.
And we made 7 world record at that time.
7 world records.
World record.
With that group?
Yeah, that group.
So you're like Mr. Adventure. Come on.
It was a passion and love, you know.
Yeah. But you've done...
and this is how the journey started. I think it was all because of the God, you know. He blessed me and he wanted me to spend a lifetime in the Himalaya only.
So now you get to take people like me up into the mountains.
Yes. Even at this age, you know, I'm running 65 years of my life. I'm still
You're
climbing.
65.
Yeah, I have completed 65.
You crushed it today.
Yeah.
You were moving the whole day. Well ahead of us.
It's the way of life, you know. Since I was born on the mountains, up and down the hill, it was the way of life.
Yeah.
Up and down the mountains. This way of life Rajiv speaks of is so full of lessons and wisdom. Out here, personal problems begin to feel insignificant, dwarfed by the skyscraping peaks in every direction. The light of dawn reflects off the slopes we climbed yesterday. Sounds of gushing water reverberate out of the valley below. The sun warms our yellow tents, waking our team and animals for a day of acclimatization. When you reach base camp in an area as high as the Himalayas, it's unsafe to head for a summit attempt immediately. Altitude sickness and fatigue can set in quickly if you're not patient. So Himika and I will take a day to wander the mountains around us, letting our bodies adjust to the air and altitude before making our summit attempt of Jagat Peak. Himika has decided to bring me to a holy lake, tucked away deep in the mountains nearby. On our journey, we pass through the grounds of a training area for mountaineers, with some souvenirs left behind.
We found a cricket bat, and of course, if a bunch of Indian mountaineers were going to come up here and do training for a couple weeks, they'd probably definitely find a way to play cricket. So this is a handmade, quite good actually, nice little cricket bat. So I don't play any cricket, I don't know how to play cricket, but I appreciate the effort of these mountaineers out here. So I'll put this back because I'm sure someone's going to use it again in the near future because this campsite is pretty regularly populated. But I have no idea what else we're going to find on our little adventure today.
As it turns out, our acclimatization walk is much more than a casual jaunt around the area. Soon, we enter a menacing boulder field, followed by a mountain pass not much smaller than the one we tackled yesterday. Himika tells me she's never braved these trails before, but I wouldn't have guessed it. She powers on, beckoning me to adopt her headstrong energy.
This is awesome, you know, these acclimatization days, these days where you just get to wander around and explore these beautiful valleys, these are my favorite because, you know, summit days, there's a lot of stress. You got to wake up in the middle of the night, you got to tie up your boots and put on your crampons, your hands are frozen, your whole body's cold, you're trekking in the dark. But these nice acclimatization days where you have like an extra day at base camp and you can just walk around and explore and do it in daylight when it's a little bit warmer, is beautiful. And I am surrounded by epic landscapes and epic peaks in every direction.
As we push ahead, the snowpack surrounds us. There is little but ice and rock and dirt offered by these monstrous mountains. And after a short push further, we are completely engulfed. It feels like another planet up here, with nothing but white on either side of us and far ahead. Our greener base camp grows smaller in the distance far behind us. Himika and I frequently fall through the tops of the snowpack, carefully choosing each step, holding our breath, and hoping not to slip too hard. Far in the distance, on the top of a hill barely discernible from the surroundings, is the hole Himika's chosen for our destination today. The cushion that slopes is our hardest yet, with plenty of tumbles as our legs stiffen from the cold, weakening from the long day of training.
So Himika,
Yeah. We are at the base of Deotiba and we are sitting next to the Holy Lake. It's unnamed, but we are around 4,500 meter high.
You told me this was Himika Lake.
This is Himika Lake, if you want to call it.
You gotta name it after yourself,
Yeah,
right?
now it's official. Now it's on Discovery Channel. This is the lake
Himika
that
Lake.
you can call Himika.
There's prayer flags behind us. What do they indicate?
These prayer flags say Om Mane Pemeo, which is supposed to carry good vibes all around the world, not just in the mountains, but everywhere. These are prayers of compassion, love, and kindness for all mankind.
It's a good day to reflect. It's a good day to remember how privileged I am and we are as a team, and just to stay humble, because if you're not humble out here, nature kills you. So we will respect our environment. We will go back to camp and have some hot tea, and we'll prepare for a summit push. And that'll be it for India.
As we begin our long walk back to base camp, the sunny weather darkens, giving way to a foreboding front of weather. Clouds swirl around the jagged rock above us, and as I turn in for the night, I wonder what kind of conditions we'll be waking up to. Leaving my tent in the morning, I find my worst fears have been actualized. There's snow everywhere. The skies opened up last night, and absolutely everything is covered. Knowing that Jagat Peak is a solid 1,000 meters above base camp, I can only imagine how deep the snow must be at its summit. In every direction, white, a frozen world. I meet with Rajiv for the sad news I already knew was coming.
Well, there was a snowstorm and it's not good and safe to travel to Jagat Peak. It would not be safe for all of us because the life is very precious. There are a number of hidden crevasses.
Okay.
There's some open crevasses as well.
Okay.
So in my opinion, you know, that I don't think, you know, that we should push for this Jagat Peak.
Okay.
Keeping in mind all these, you know, the prevailing conditions, we need to pay respect to the Himalaya,
Yes.
the mountains,
And Mother Nature.
Mother Nature. Yeah.
Okay. So it snowed too much. We've got crevasses and maybe avalanche.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah, I spent my lifetime here, you know.
Sure.
Meeting with the rest of our team and discussing possible dangers in the snow, I feel certain Rajiv is making the right call. This feeling is only reinforced by the weather that arrives merely hours later. Another huge snowstorm. This one stalls over base camp for the remainder of the day. Blistering winds, freezing temperatures, stiff bodies. This would have been an incredibly dangerous day to attempt the summit of Jagat Peak. We spend most of the day inside our tents, watching as Mother Nature demonstrates her power outside. While our canceled climb is a disappointment, I'm not left with a feeling of failure. Perhaps this is because of the kinship I feel with this expedition's team. In between moments of marveling at the nature around me, Rajiv and I spend time sharing stories and keeping warm. Rajiv is a wise and comforting presence, rivaled only by his daughter Himika, whose calm demeanor I've enjoyed all through this Himalayan adventure.
Okay, Himika. Another snowstorm today.
Yeah,
More bad weather.
it'll be fair to go back to Manali since the weather is not good
Yeah.
for climb. Just a classic example of how man is not mightier than nature.
Man is not mightier than nature. That's
Yeah.
very well said.
So it's tough to say goodbye. It's disheartening that the mission that you came here for was not accomplished, but you can always come back again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you'll guide me again?
I will. I would love to.
Yeah.
If you'd want me again
Of
on the
course.
adventure.
Just make sure we get better weather next time.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your help.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah, it's been
You've
wonderful.
earned a fan in me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We're not going to be able to climb anything around these peaks. The snow is too heavy. It's been snowing for 3 or 4 days straight. It's just not safe to be up in the mountains or attempting any peaks in this kind of weather. And I don't see this as being a failure at all. You know, we came here to India, we had an amazing experience. Manali was wonderful. We have an incredible crew with us, and making the call to go back down to Manali because we've got yet another day of snowstorms is the right decision. So with a heavy heart, we leave the mountains and head back to lower altitudes and hopefully warmer climates. And our time in India has been good. It's been tough, but it's been good, and we've learned a lot, and we'll definitely take a lot of positives away from this epic adventure.